What's going on, people? Welcome to today's video. Today I am going to speak about something which has definitely affected me during this lockdown, which is muscle loss. How fast do you actually lose muscle, and some of the best things you can do to prevent muscle loss or maintain as much muscle as you can during a period of time when you might not be able to work out or train as optimally as usual due to injuries, maybe no access to the best equipment, things like that. I'm going to cover in today's video. So sit back, relax, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoy it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Let's go. Even though muscle loss depends on a lot of factors such as how much exercise you're doing, the type of exercises, also the amount of calories you consume in every day, and protein, also age, injuries, the evidence is out there to suggest that if you are completely bed rested, you can lose a hell of a lot of your gains. You can lose up to about a kilo of muscle in just 1 week. It's quite sad, quite depressing. So at least if you can, don't just stay in bed all day eating popcorn, watching Netflix. Try and do some daily activities, which I'm sure the majority of you out there are doing. Even things like, playing a bit of sport in the back garden, kicking the football, just any type of daily activities like tidying your room, hoovering the house, things that keep your muscles moving, okay? That is gonna be a lot better than completely staying still like a couch potato, okay? Because like I said, you can lose up to 1 kilo of muscle in just 1 week completely rested. But for the majority of people, like I said, it's not going to count. So let's take another scenario, which would be you are eating quite a balanced diet and you are doing daily activities. It doesn't even have to be you are doing exercise every day. It can just be some sort of daily activities, but again, it will help if you are doing a little bit of even playing a bit of sport in the back garden every now and again. But as long as you're keeping fairly active, you can keep your muscle up to 3 weeks. Okay, there's a lot of articles, a lot of evidence out there, again, that I've looked into that suggests people who are staying active, and I would throw in having quite a healthy-ish balanced diet is going to help as well. You can maintain your muscle for up to 3 weeks. A lot of the time, don't be confused, because it might not actually be muscle loss, because the thing that actually keeps your muscle looking full is glycogen stores and water. So you can also lose, believe it or not, 20% of your glycogen stores in just a week, okay? So that is why people who might take a long time off training can gain muscle back very, very quickly, because a lot of the time, if they're not resting for too long, it's not muscle that they actually lose, it's glycogen and water stores. But after 3 weeks, you would then, I would say, start to tap into muscle loss, okay? So 3 weeks, as long as you're staying active, eating a healthy diet, you should be fine. Now, the 3-week period of going without training and you can keep hold of muscle mass is certainly evidential if we look at this PubMed study, which was done in Japan, comparing individuals that were doing continuous resistance training over 6 months compared with another group of individuals that were doing resistance training periodically. So for a certain amount of time, they would be doing resistance training for a number of weeks, and then they would take a 3-week break of no training, continue to do more resistance training again for another number of weeks, take 3 weeks off. So those individuals with a periodic, obviously, kind of like intervals of doing resistance training, 3 weeks no training, compared with people that were doing consistent resistance training for the whole 6 months. And the results that they found at the end were both individuals kept hold of or gained the same amount of muscle mass at the end. So what would happen if you stopped training for at least 3 weeks, let's say 4 weeks, maybe 2 months or more? Well, for the majority, nearly everyone actually out there, you will see muscle loss, okay? Quite a bit of muscle loss. However, the rates of muscle loss after 3-4 weeks of not training as efficiently as you would do in the past, maybe at all, would depend on things like age would be a big factor, the amount of resistance training, if any, that you're doing. Also, your calorie intake is another big factor, and of course, the amount of protein you are eating on a daily basis as well. However, like I said, for the majority of people, 4 weeks or more with no training, you will see some muscle loss, not just losing water and glycogen. It will start to break down your muscle tissue. There's no doubt about it. Now, if we take a look at this article by Liga from 2006, you will see that individuals trained for 8 weeks, and in that time they gained 10% more muscle mass. So they gained hypertrophy up to 10% more muscle. And after that, they stopped training for another 8 weeks and they lost half their gains in the same amount of time. And again, looking at this article, this is people who were, not training in the first place, people like newbie lifters. So you might actually keep hold of a lot more muscle if you are a trained, intermediate, advanced lifter. So that is one positive to take from this, but as a lot of things in fitness, you need to take it in context. It's not black or white, unfortunately, but we, certainly people like myself, other people out there who are trying to give the best advice when it comes to health and nutrition, trying to look at science-based evidence and own personal experience to obviously give you guys and subscribers the best advice possible. So take that into account as well. Now, one big factor in all of this is going to be age. So as we get older, unfortunately, you do lose muscle mass, also known as sarcopenia. But if you do resistance training quite regularly, this can help to improve muscle mass or keep hold of as much as you can, but it is inevitable you will lose some to a certain extent. Now, if we look at this article by Bickle and his colleagues here, it will show you that when people reduce their training volume by 1/9, they actually kept hold of their muscle for 32 weeks, which is about 7 months. Now, also in the article, you will read, which I will put in the link below this video, that the older group of people did not keep hold of the muscle like the younger people after only reducing the volume down to 1/9. Why is this? Well, again, like I said, it is natural. As you get older, sarcopenia happens and you will lose muscle mass. So maybe people who are older, let's say 60 plus, you might have to do a bit more training volume than just 2 to 3 times a week, 2 to 3 sets of each different body part. You might need to do a little bit more than that, okay? Now, it's not quite clear a specific amount, but it is clear that it is probably more important for the older generation to do some sort of resistance training than it is for younger people. So now I'm going to go over some things which are crucial to maintaining as much muscle as possible, maybe when you go through a period of time, like I said, when you might not be able to train at all, or you might not have equipment, you could have an injury, etc. These are the things that you should do. So let's say if you can't really train at all, number one, this goes for just in general, even if you can train, the amount of calories that you're eating is going to be a big one, okay? Obviously, you're going to lose muscle a lot quicker if you're in a calorie deficit and you're not doing any type of resistance training. So Calories, I would recommend being in a slight calorie surplus. Okay, I would say at worst be in maintenance calories. So if you don't know how to do this, there's lots of different calculators out there how to work out your maintenance calories that you should be having on a daily basis, and then increase this slightly by about 100 to 200 calories a day. Okay, but again, at worst, maintenance calories. So that is number one. Okay, number two is going to be, this is probably if you're not injured and you can be active slightly. So it would range on a scale, 1 being minimum amount of exercise you can do, 10 being the best. But let's say, for example, you don't have that much equipment, if any, in your house, as in weights. So number one, if we look at the scale from 1 to 10, would be, walking about the house, doing hoovering, doing some sort of daily activities, brushing up, walking up and down the stairs, mowing the lawn, that sort of thing that at least gets your step count up, helps to keep the muscles moving. Then if we go up the scale, number 5 would be doing some sort of sport that probably engages the muscles a little bit more. Let's say if you're blessed with a big tennis court near your house, go for a game of tennis, game of basketball, something like that, that when you are mechanically moving the muscles as they should do, then that is going to help to at least engage them and keep them active. Then if we go to number 10 on the scale, which is probably going to be best, or the best you can do without any equipment at all, is going to be bodyweight exercises at home. I am thinking of doing a home full body or just the best bodyweight exercises with no equipment in the future, probably in the next week or so. But things like chin-ups, pulling yourself up to the table, pull-ups on the door, push-ups on the floor with your feet elevated on something, bodyweight squats, those type of things are going to be the best you can do activity-wise. Okay, so number 3 on the things that you can do to help maintain or preserve as much muscle as possible will be eating enough protein. So I recommend taking about 1.6 to 2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight per day minimum. But if you can, I would go slightly higher than this, which would be, I would say, around 2.2 to 2.5 grams of protein per kilo per day, just to be safe. So that being said, that is the end of today's video. Do hope you found it useful, educational, and a little bit of entertainment in there, of course. If you did, smash that like button, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and stay safe. Stay keeping hold of those gains by using the tools from things like this video, and I will see you soon.